Oh, you just muttered something as the recording started. I'm gonna have to edit that out now.
See,
We're
I
flowing.
cause more work. We're flowing, happy flowing. It happens to be Friday for us, so it's
Flowing
flowing
Friday.
Friday. Oh, and I'm taking a deep breath 'cause we pre-potted a bit.
Yeah.
We pre-potted a bit, and as I what I was uttering as I was watching the recording, about to record countdown was I was excited to talk about something on pod more actually just to tell you validation of the work we've been doing over the past, almost 2 years going on now, almost. I
Yeah,
mean,
we're
that's a
cut I
little
was gonna say we're by the end of the year, we should hit 100 episodes.
like, I wanna
Pretty
make
cool.
that a goal.
I wanna get to 400 episodes. That's
Okay,
my goal because
okay.
starting without a uh, any kind of branding or influence or following really,
Mhm.
it takes a few hundred episodes to get there. So
Oh,
that's
so
my
you're
goal.
saying our hobby has a chance.
Yeah, well, I mean, and this is the thing is, and I've, as you know, I've recently gone through kind of a professional realization of
Mm,
like you have to see things through, and you can tell yourself all you want about uh what your passion is, what your mission is, but it's very easy to jump ship or jump vehicles without actually addressing. You sow some seeds, you gotta let the fruit grow from it. And I think a lot of times people with stuff like this, they start it and don't finish it.
mm.
You never know. One person could listen to this that has a huge audience and like, "Hey, I need to get these two on." Or, "Hey, I have a conference coming up. Can you two come and speak?" Or one of us come and speak. You never know. You never know who's listening.
And then we're like, "No, we're a package deal."
Oh, well, I'd have no problem with you going and doing something.
I know, and I would have no problem. I will be in the audience
It's all
cheering
about
you
the
on.
flow, you know?
Yes, you never know, and I will say just very therapeutically, I always feel a little bit selfish, like, this is our catch up kind of friend time. Not everything that we talk about together ends up, out to the public, but a lot of it does,
Yeah.
and I really utilize this time to talk through what's on my mind, what's in the world, what happened yesterday, what's happening today, something you sent me or something I sent you, an interesting thought. So it's like this selfish kind of coaching therapy, show up to make a positive impact.
Yeah.
Um, and I had a thought and it went away, but that's okay. Oh, it's also for me, and I think for you too, when you're talking about seeing things through, there's an evolution to things. There's a natural evolution and looking at where you're forcing it versus where you're being pulled towards.
Yeah.
The pod is also and our relationship has also been super helpful for there's so many different ways to help people. Like, so for me, for coaching and coming alongside struggle, there's so many different platforms I could kind of delve into from corporate to one-on-one to group to keynote to all those things. And then where am I focusing? Like, what tools am I really bringing people? What is it that someone working with me or with us is going to solve in their life? And so kind of I feel like we've peaked and opened up these doors like, what's in here? This is interesting. Like, okay, is this the path that we want to kind of go down? And then typically for me, that's like interesting. But then I learn something else and I'm like, ooh, what's this? So being really careful to not go hard on myself because I go, "Oh, hi, you're getting distracted." Don't is this jumping from one thing to the next, or is this an evolution that's kind
Right.
of drawing and pulling me? And that's a 2 very different feelings for me. One's like a find safety, jump ship, go get something that I think is going to, bring me safety versus this is literally, like, drawing me and pulling me from my soul to learn more about, and then
Yeah.
not learning for just learning's sake, learning for doing sake. Is this something that I can apply to myself? And then can I apply it to my clients? Um, which has led me to Polyvagal Theory, which I start my certification today. It's been sitting in my
Awesome.
cart. It's been sitting in my world. It's been kind of looping around for a while, and I backed off because I was like, "Okay, I don't wanna just jump into another decision." I was looking at some other things. You were like, "Do you yeah, even need this?" And I'm like, "I don't know, maybe I don't need this." And I really thought about it. Then you sent me something last week, and you're like, "There are no coincidences," and it was the
Yeah.
podcast.
I mean, talk about serendipity. I'd never heard of this dude.
Yeah.
You send me a bunch of these different things you were considering, and then
Mhm.
I talk about Chris Williamson on here a lot. I listen to his stuff quite frequently, and sure enough, there's this guy. What's his name again? Doctor.
Stephen Porges. Yeah.
He's a doctor, right?
He is, yes.
Yeah. And I'm like, he's interviewing him. I'm like, oh my god! Like, I sent it to you straight away. Um, and I think the most impressive thing, as I said to you, was that this guy is like 81 or 83.
Mhm.
You would have pegged him for 10, 15 years younger easily. So I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, his stuff must work because if he's this, you know, because aging can be accelerated by stress, right? Like if he's this well regulated and
Yes.
can deal with stress, he's got something to that.
Yeah. I loved that observation, and when you sent it to me, I'm like, "Okay, done." That's what I needed. Um, so thank you for that.
Oh,
Thank you for the pause. You gave me a pause, and then thank you for the gift of, like, validation. I'm like, "Okay, yep, that's what I needed." It was ultimately my decision. I didn't not do it or do it because of you, but, I felt like my process has changed over the past few years. Um and how I make decisions, bigger decisions like this where I'm spending money and then where I have, 6 months of time, energy, and effort to put in
yeah,
around travel, around work, around all of that. And I would say there's further validation because this is all stemmed from the nervous system work. One, something I'm really needing lately to be like super aware and be using my own tools. But 2, I'm just realizing, not that we haven't already known it, but there's such a need for this in the world to the point where I did a quick little video when I was walking yesterday. I do a coaching huddle for our team every single week. I've been talking about time blocking and nervous system regulation. And really, you can have the best systems in the world, the best systems. If your internal system, and one of those being your nervous system, right? And you can talk about other systems, if they're fucked up and not regulated, and this is not about a constant state of perfection or regulation, but if your internal systems are not regulated, it does not matter what systems you have on the outside. They
yep,
can support you, they can help you when you are needing to focus on getting regulated yourself, but you're never going to outwork your systems. Like your nervous system can't outwork, or your systems rather, your external systems can't outwork your nervous system. So, a big mouthful. The bottom line was every single agent that I start coaching, I mean 99.9% of the time I look at their calendar, they have a time block on for lead gen from 9 to 11 Monday through Friday. But they don't have enough leads and they don't have enough business and they're coming to me to make more money. They're on the real estate roller coaster. Um, And I look at that because that's what we teach people in the real estate world or in the sales industry. You
mhm,
have to have relationships. In order to create relationships and nurture relationships, you need to do reach outs. You can do cold reach outs, you can do warm reach outs. Like, that's true. But putting something on your calendar just because someone told you to, I have my clients erase it. Like, I would rather have you one day that you're committed to for 30
mhm,
minutes than 5 days of 2 hours because we're gonna be able to build on that. But right now, your subconscious is already like, "Who the fuck are you kidding?" That's there and it looks good. Maybe it makes you feel good every once in a while, but most of the time you probably just it makes you, like, drop down a
you
notch.
dread it. Yeah,
Yeah. Um so we're doing nervous system fitness around time blocking, and there's different tips on time blocking and even blocking for kind of the chaotic fires and blocking white space for not admin catch-up work, like literally regulation work. Put on some music, get outside, walk around, go pet your dog, go take a drink of water, do some breathing, do a little meditation. And what I'm realizing more and more as I'm giving people tools, yesterday I taught the physiological sigh, which is two, big breaths in through the nose, and I like to do another little sip through the mouth and then a
Mhm.
a real sigh out. And I'm like, "Am I gonna get fired for this?" Because 'Cause I'm like, "The more orgasmic it sounds, the better." Like, I was making fun of it because as the leader and the one who's going first, I have to fully, like you did, smacking your hand on the
Mhm.
the chair that day with the sacred rage, I had to fully demonstrate it and, make people laugh. People laughed, but then I saw people doing it and they were muted, and then I started seeing in chat, people were like, "I really needed that."
Yeah.
And then I'm like, they knew about breathing way before me. We all know these things, but we don't do them, and I think the simplicity of it is we think things have to be so much harder, so, like, we reject it, we call it woo-woo, and you and I were pre-potting about this. I'm so tired of myself with prefacing something, "I know this sounds woo-woo." Like, no, fuck that. This is my
Yeah.
swearing day today. It's not woo-woo. This is scientifically based, physiological, factual, studied behaviors and tools. This is nothing woo-woo about it. If you wanna go hug a tree while you wear Birkenstocks and you do breathing, sure, maybe that could be a little woo-woo, but, like, the techniques and the tools are not outside metaphysical. Like, they are
Mhm.
grounded in science, they are real, and they are simple, and I think that's why we reject it so much.
Yeah, that's always been a frustration of mine. It's like it's totally normal just to take a pill for something, but to go and stand on grass with bare feet is considered weird,
Because you have to
you
do it
know?
consistently.
Yeah. But, I
And
think pulling on the thread of what you were saying, why I think it's really and I would have joined you in doing the certification because I do really think it's needed, but I'm doing my MBA, so I don't wanna add more onto the that starts next week.
Oh,
Next week.
that's awesome.
Um, but, because I see it a lot with what I do in the health space, and I think there's this gap between I can go and talk about sleep, about stress, about nutrition and hormones and things like that. And then we can put the practice in, we can do the protocols, then we can do the labs. But there's something about, as you were just talking about, actually sitting there, teaching someone how to breathe, them feeling the effect of it, being able to walk out with a tool that they've just experienced. Because if I tell you, change all your light bulbs out or get blue light glasses, you still have to then go and do something before you feel the effect of it. But when you're in a workshop or you're in a session and you can actually feel the effect, I just think it's that more validating and you get that instant gratification that often you need to affect change. So
Yes.
I think it's great. And I mean, I went to Panera where I never go, but Mason had a soccer session, so I pulled up there and did some work. Just a lot of bit of a weird crowd at Panera, but very dysregulate. Like I think the more regulated you become, the
Yes.
more you realize how dysregulated everybody else is. This
Mm,
guy, I just hear him yell,
mm,
"You're welcome, jerk off." And I guess he'd held the door open for someone and the person hadn't said thank you.
yeah.
Which sure, that's rude, but I've done it a few times of like you it happened to me in Philly actually a little while back. Someone held the door for me. I'm kind of just in my zone and you just kind of
Yeah.
walk through and then you're like, "Oh shit, sorry." But yeah, that time that woman had said something um, you know, similar to that. But just like, are you that like ready to go
Yes.
that someone not saying thank you, like you should just hold the door open to hold the door open. It's the polite thing to do. Doesn't always have to be a reciprocal, you know, occasion, but just that ready to go and that ready to start an argument.
We're
it's
surrounded by it, like, it's
yeah.
constant. It's an epidemic, and
So I saw a friend, um, I actually had to stop I muted them on social media just because it was always everything was just complaining or you just people just kinda yell into the void, right? And
Mhm,
I was just like, "I don't want that energy coming my way. I don't wanna see that on my feed when I log in." But
mhm,
they posted something about, um I won't say what it was about actually because it might identify who they are. But they posted something about a situation going on.
mhm,
I was like, "Who why the fuck are you paying attention to that?"
yeah.
Like, where you are in your life and I mean, it was almost the equivalent of someone having a meltdown about a Real Housewife of Abu Dhabi or whatever, wherever they are, right? It's
About
like you're gonna get that amped up about something that has absolutely nothing to do with you. You know nothing about it because I actually know a little bit about actually a lot about that whole situation, and it's not what it seems.
mm,
But you're gonna get that you have to post about it. Like,
mm,
it has literally nothing to do with your kids, with your life. It would not affect you, but you wanna put that energy out there. And it comes back to the nervous system. You're that dysregulated.
yeah. It's as you start doing more of the work, there's a challenge, right? Because there can be a separation, and it doesn't mean that you're, like, now holier than thou and you're, this nervous system regulated person, um, and then everyone should be doing this, right? And it's tough because you see the pain and you see the struggle, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Well, I know what you can do, like, come join me." And you just can't force it on anyone, and it
Nope.
ultimately comes back to you, and you do have the ability to co-regulate someone. You do have the ability to welcome in those feelings that you're pushing away, to welcome in that person that's, totally dysregulated. Because when you can kind of welcome it in with love, most of the time those feelings will dissipate. They don't disappear. It's just an energy shift. Like,
Yeah.
everything's energy. You can't stop it. It's always in motion, but you can shift it and you can transform it. Grief transform, anger transforms, love transforms. There's no right or wrong. And it also can be okay. I've said it before. There are some people I just look at and I'm like, nope, I don't even want to look at this person.
Right.
They don't wanna receive anything I have to give, like, they're on their mission to go validate whatever it is they're feeling, and I just have to protect myself,
Yeah.
from that. They have not asked for me. They do not want me. Um, and where I would potentially in the past look at a red flag or look at something like that and be like, "Ooh, challenge accepted," because well, I meant to do
Yeah.
hard things, and I would take red flags as challenges, and they're really not a challenge, like, that's not a challenge I wanna overcome. Um, so it's a journey, and I think in aligning with other people that our kind of brain wavelengths are along these lines, even if it's different parallels,
Yeah.
is really important. Um, and then there's gonna be a natural people are either gonna rise to meet your vibration or you're gonna lower to meet their vibration, or there's gonna be a distance because it's never really a
Mhm.
separation. If we're all one, we're never like disconnection or separation is really just a kind of a myth. Um, do the whole cutting the cords, all of that. Yes, you can do those things, but we are cosmically and energetically intertwined with the people in our life and the people that we experience on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Um, so that went down an interesting path. Going back to where I started with what I put out yesterday on the quick little doing my silent walk, which I wasn't being
Uh-huh.
silent until I got the video done. But I just said, like, DM me if you're interested in this. I had some worksheets on it. Again, super simple. Some prompts to answer and breathing techniques. I got the most responses of people actually DMing me of anything that I've ever done, anything that I ever did with ManyChat, anything I ever offered as a free resource. I actually don't have it completed because I have a third part I need to do. But I'm like, can you send it to me? Can you send it to me? I have another agent that's like, hey, I've been mentoring this agent. She really needs more. She needs more of a team. Will you take her? And I was like, yeah, tell me about her. Yes. So like just that little bit, like, I'm like, okay, people are so hungry for it when we're talking about developing this out in a training program for the Align team. And like, well, what do we name it? What do we name it? I'm like, we name it nervous system regulation. Like, well, people don't understand that or they're afraid of that. I'm like, yeah, I know exactly. That's why we name it that, because we're teaching them that this is normal conversation,
Yeah.
that it's normal to talk about your nervous system. It's normal to go, oh shit, I'm in a bad, I'm in a dorsal vagal state, right? We're all going to learn what that means eventually. This is not the time for me to pick up the phone and make calls. But I've got 10 tools, breathing and beyond, that I can do to shift my state so that I can actually function today, do something to move my business forward so I can pay my bills, so I can take care of my family, so I can show up as the husband, wife, mother, father, that I am. It all starts with this. So, yeah, we're gonna name it that because I wanna get away from this woo-woo outside of me nonsense. The way to
Yeah.
success is tapping into yourself.
Yeah, and I think particularly in something like real estate and actually with health too, right? There's
Mhm.
so much constantly being thrown at you that oftentimes will contradict the thing you just heard. So it could be how you generate leads.
Yep.
You got one person saying it's all about cold calls, and then another person saying, don't do cold calls. You should be doing emailing and then using
Mm,
AI to do all of this for you. And then, oh, don't do that. That's you should be on social media. And then with health, it's like, oh, well, don't drink coffee. Coffee's actually really good for you.
mhm,
And you realize, I think people, to your point, they're so hungry for, I need to like quiet this overwhelm. There's so much
mhm,
noise. And I
mhm.
think people are actually identifying that, oh shit, I'm just in this constant state of fight
Yeah.
or flight, I
Yeah.
guess. You can mean both, but
Both.
it's there's so much overwhelm, and a lot of it, to be honest, probably would start with let's put social media away. Let's put the phone down.
Yeah, or have it have a time and place,
Yeah.
right? Like, have a time and place. I'm reading a text message I got yesterday. "I just saw your reel on IG, and me and my wife have been talking about how bombed our nervous system is from the never-ending war zone at the house." And now their war zone is, I think, 4 kids under 5 or 4 kids under 6, and there's a baby on the way. So, when I'm talking to them about silent walks, like, "Well, yeah, we do a silent walk, but it's one kid who can scream louder than the other kid." Or, we don't do a
Yeah.
silent walk, we do a walk, so I propose something for him to do with his oldest son. But, I get a message like that, and that's the holistic part of this coaching. It's the biggest win is when like Amy came to me, Amy Zimmerman. If you guys have been
Mhm.
watching us, Amy's been with us twice. And gosh, if you see what's happening from her Casey's Law podcast that she did with us and the people that are reaching out even
Oh,
publicly,
great.
like huge.
Love it.
She was asked to speak at women's networking through EXP. She was in Paris talking about it. It's just amazing to see what's unfolding and the impact. Um, For me as a coach, though, like, the biggest win is she messaged me like, "Rich watched the episode with me. We both cried." You know, he was able to experience her story differently than he had before. He was able to see her edify him and appreciate him for his support. When you hear
Mhm.
someone telling someone else about that, it hits different than even when they're telling
Oh,
you, "I
yeah.
appreciate you." Um So and she's like, Rich said to me, "I really like Tara. And who's this guy, Paolo? I really like him." And this is not like a touchy-feely guy. I mean, super nice guy, but for him to say something like that, and I've been working with Amy for years, to me, that's the win. When someone's like, "You gave me my husband back. I didn't do relational coaching therapy. We're just doing identity
Right.
work. We're just helping people let go of the shoulds and get back to themselves a little bit, which then has a natural impact on everything else, is never, ever, 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 ever about the money.
Yeah, and
That's a byproduct.
I wish people would invest in themselves
Mm.
on a personal level as much as they do on a professional level, because it all is so intertwined. But there is this kind of idea. People have no qualms about dropping 10 grand on a boot camp
Yeah.
or a real estate event, but they won't spend 5 grand on running some labs, for example, or doing some relationship coaching, or you know, something a bit more on the personal side of things. And we do need to start uh,
Mhm.
kind of making that more normalized. And
Yes.
it's something that you and I realized, and why we changed the tagline to human leadership.
Mm.
You realize that there's so much that can be intertwined. There's so much synergy with personal and professional. They're not separate things.
They're not separate.
How you show up
And
at work should not be different to how you show up at home, and vice versa.
how you show up here is how you show up everywhere.
Yeah,
I say that when I'm on Zooms with groups where people aren't putting their camera on. This is rooms of leaders. You're showing up without your camera on. Like, that doesn't seem like a lot, but what you're telling someone else, the other people in the room, the people that are presenting, yourself, like, that's this is how you're showing up in life. You're not showing up.
yeah,
You're hiding, you're making excuses for whatever the reason is. Um, I think that we're the gateway drug, and what I see with the packaging of titles, we've been talking about nervous system regulation for a while. If we package that with nervous system regulation as the competitive edge, nervous system regulation to be successful in time blocking, all of a sudden people's arms are shooting up. Yes, me, send it to me. I want it. I need it. So it's the same message. It's just like now I feel like we're the drug dealers. We're the drug dealers that are,
yeah,
we're it's the gateway drug, right? The more woo-woo metaphysical packaged with the performance and success, where people go, "Oh, okay, I can invest in that." Or corporations go, "Oh, okay, this is a better performance thing, not a our people just are gonna feel better thing." But
yeah,
guess what? When your people feel better, they perform a lot better. The amount of corporate rooms I have been in where I have leaders come up to me after and they're like, "I want to lead with love, but then I don't know how to hold my people accountable." Right? Or they won't do what I need them to do. Human leadership is hungry for how to do things through love, which is the most powerful thing.
yeah,
But you can't lead that way. You can't lead powerfully from a heart space if you are yourself dysregulated and reactive, or you have an environment where people are just going into fight or flight survival mode. They can't hear it.
right,
And everything becomes the moment. And listen, we always talk about like we're not the perfect examples of this. I live in this a lot. The moment someone escalates, I'm like, holy shit, danger. What do I have to do? I have to protect myself? Do I have to run away? Do I have to armor up? Because I will. I will go to battle.
yeah.
Um, it's like driving down the road in the Jeep, giving the Jeep wave, and someone doesn't. I'm like all happy to get the Jeep wave back, and they don't, and then I get angry. I'm like, that is crazy, Tara. You go from wanting to peace wave to someone to wanting to ram them because they didn't do it back. Like that is there's some work to do there, girl.
Well, so I mean, like even with that, because road
Yeah.
rage was something I really worked on. I used to be horrendous with it.
Yeah.
Now, very, very rarely do I get
Yep.
annoyed. You could get a little frustrated with people who are driving way too slow or driving like idiots or
Mhm.
whatever. But yeah, even with that, with the Jeep Wave, when I had the Jeep, I would just kind of be like, "Woo!" "Ooh," if someone didn't wave back or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, "Oh, didn't see me." And
Yes.
just it is it but again, but and this is what people don't realize though, is all those little micro moments during your day
Mhm.
keep you in the place you don't wanna be.
Yeah.
You might
If
think it's something small, but that now, your mind's going like, "Oh, what an asshole." And then the
Mhm.
next thing that happens, it's gonna have an impact on that. And then this is all on your way to work. And
Yep.
then some stuff happens at work and you have those micro moments of not regulating. And
Yep.
then what do you think happens when you go home? You're bringing all of that shit with you.
Yep. What you focus on expands. Our
Yeah.
subconscious is constantly scanning our environment to support what our conscious is saying. And yeah, it's it's so natural, and it's not right or wrong or good or bad. Um and I want to understand better why people are so afraid to go down these paths. Is it a fear of
Yeah.
knowing yourself? Is it a fear of you know, feelings of shame or guilt or things that you've been able to tuck away, right? That they continue to thrive in darkness, and it can be scary to shine the light. And we talked about this on last pod. They're just we have to be softer with ourselves, and we have by being softer, we become more resilient, we become stronger, we become braver, we become more courageous to look at the stuff that keeps coming up. They're like, well, I don't want to keep living my life like this, right? Or I don't want to keep
Yeah.
getting annoyed if someone doesn't wave back. Or I'll catch myself like, oh, shoot, I forgot to wave. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there was no negative behind that. I was
Right.
distracted by something. Um, so, polyvagal theory, safety, human
Well, it's
connection. I'm diving in.
while you were talking through that, I realized I didn't talk about last Saturday was the first walk and talk or walk and coffee that I had for the
Mm,
meetup group. Only two ladies showed up. We had a really nice chat, really nice. And again, it's just great to be around people who have similar similar journeys they want to walk on. They don't have
mhm,
anyone else they could do this with, or if we didn't have this scheduled, I just wouldn't do it. Like
yeah,
I love that. But one of the things we were talking about was I was just saying how the best thing I ever did for my mental health was stop watching the news.
mm,
And to your point, we were just talking about with all these micro things, what people have to realize is the news is not information. It's information that they are telling you what they want you to know.
mhm,
It's not. It's and if you could watch Fox News, for example, and then watch what is it, MSN Now,
yeah,
whatever it's called, you're going to get two different takes on a story. That should tell you enough. And oftentimes they'll talking about completely different things. Something major would have happened in the world, and one of them's ignoring it, and the other one because it doesn't fit the narrative of what they want to tell you. The minute I stopped watching it, and now when I go back, I've talked about this before. If it's ever on TV where I am somewhere, you realize how much is just flash, flash, flash. It's frying your nervous system. It's
yes,
putting you in a state of fear. And they've had people go undercover and record people, executives from these news channels saying, "Yeah, we did this for the COVID deaths. They were doing they were doing the tracker to keep you in a state of fear to keep you coming back." And it's just I can't tell people how valuable it is just to not watch any of that shit. I'm not saying be ill informed,
yeah,
but when you start, okay, so and so said this. All right, let me actually hear the. I always tell people listen to the 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after. If you're going to get emotional about something and react to it,
mhm,
listen to the 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after. Okay, is what that person said is what I just heard in context now? And then from there, let me actually look into what they said and see if it's true or not, and actually do some
yes,
research myself. Again, if you're gonna get emotional and react to something and say someone's this or that, or a situation or a group of people, actually spend some time looking into it. Don't just be a headline reader.
yep,
I'm telling you that I think it's probably in the top three sources of why people's nervous systems are completely fucked. is because they watch the news and watch these talking heads feed you bullshit all day.
I agree. I agree. And if I'm in rooms where it's on, um, I'm quickly reminded of why I don't watch the news. And I
I often
think
just
what you
start laughing now. I'm like, I see exactly where you're trying to go with
do it,
this
yeah.
narrative.
What you said of it not watching the news is not saying be ill-informed, right? There's because think that's what people will often first say. Well, how are you gonna know what's going on in the world? There's lots of ways to understand what's going on in the world, and I love your advice of listen to the 5 minutes before or the 5 minutes after, and then go actually look it up. How many times have I seen people post something because they read the half of the article or the first paragraph and it supported something that they were believing,
Uh-huh.
but they didn't actually read it through because I know that they didn't because how it ended was either the opposite of what they promoted it as being.
Yeah.
Um, I'm get passionate about things that you're willing to take action on. If you are passionate about something enough to repost it or to watch the news on it and get informed on it, what are you doing to take action on it? And not the, whoa, well, what's one person going to do? Like, if you're going to be passionate about something and you're going to soapbox about something, what are you willing to do about it? And I mean, sure, posting for awareness, that's one thing, but what are you doing in your personal life that would show me that this is something that you believe is injustice or you believe should be changed or you are doing your part to create positive impact? Don't just
Yeah.
shout headlines at me as an excuse for why you don't do things, because what's the difference one person's gonna make?
Yeah. I agree.
I would
And you
love
need to
it.
be regulated to take action.
Okay, thank you. I was just gonna ask you for that because 'cause we've jumped all around today. If you were gonna nutshell or give some final thoughts, and I will take us out afterwards. I am leaning on you, my friend and partner, to wrap up in a brilliant, intelligent way what the last 40 minutes could have meant for someone.
I think a lot of this always comes back as terrible use of English language. A lot of this always. This often comes back to self-awareness because I think that's where it starts. If you are able to identify when you're not being regulated, you can then regulate yourself or at least attempt to. And then you see things clearer. And again, you and I are not coming at this from a perspective of we're great, we're perfect, nothing bothers us. We've come through and seen what it looks like on the other side, and we're here to tell you it's a much nicer place to be. But it comes down to practice and again identifying when you are dysregulated and knowing that it shows up in all areas of your life. So trying to think that you can work on being nicer at the office, you can lead with love. You have to show up that way at home too, or with your friends and with your relationships. It's not a it's not a binary thing, and the nervous system is always flowing. You know, keeping with the
Mhm.
theme of our our episode and our show, you've got to you've got to be willing to put the hard yards in for it and practice. But again, it comes back to knowing when it's happening, being able to step back and say, "Oh, yeah, I didn't react well there," because all those micro changes, much like I was saying, the micro incidents where you get riled up about something and react, even if it's just one time a day, you add one more each day of, oh, I didn't react. I was regulated there. I didn't rise to that. Before you know it, you're doing it all day. You have to know when it's happening to stop it.
I love that. It does. It starts with self-awareness, and then I'll just say, and self-kindness. To
Yeah.
be willing to go to that place of awareness, like, "It's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything bad. You're a human having this human experience. And if you wanna do better, that's all I need to know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for everything as always. It was fun. And here's to 400 episodes. We're almost halfway there.
Well, not really. We're almost a quarter of the way there.
A quarter of the
400's
way.
a lot.
Oh, that's right. That's right. See, I'm always so much further along in my head. I want more guests. We need more guests. We had a goal beginning of the year for that, so let's really
Yeah.
hunker down on that. All right, so if you're listening to this and you know you have something to contribute to this world, even if it's not something that we've talked about before, reach out. And until next time, friends, bye for now.